Hello everyone, how you all doing? Hope you're having a great evening so far. My evening has been mostly trying to assemble webcams, or putting webcams working properly. Two webcams at the same time. So a couple days ago I ordered this thing, which is an Elgato stand thing, which is useful. You can clip it to a table, and you can buy some additional arms to do like weird angles that you might want. Um, And the reason that I wanted to buy this was so I could have an overhead webcam focusing on what I'm doing on the keyboard region, which I could, slide away and either do some electronics stuff since I've been doing those pseudo repair cafes, so I could have like a camera just focused on that and show stuff like that instead of the weird janky stuff that I always end up doing, or for drawing as well. I did a live stream the other day where I was just drawing, and it kind of made sense. So I got this thing, and then I was trying to install it. I was trying to install it on the back side of the table. I had some issues because on the back side of the table, near the table itself, I have cable holders. So, which is like a little metal basket net sort of thing. They are just attached, but since they are so close to the edge of the table, I can't turn the thing that would hold the holder for the cam. I ended up having to attach it to the side of like a cabinet thing that's right over there. So I attached it there, and it was in the middle of the thing, and then arcing down, which sort of worked. And then I tried to use an access camera on it, because I have a few of them around. One of these surveillance cameras, IPTV cameras, and the reason I was trying to use one of these was because I had tried to put two webcams before, and I ran into issues because of USB limitations. We'll get to that in a little while. First, I want to finish talking about this. But so I thought, okay, let's try to use an IPTV camera. I have like 6 of them lying around that I'm trying to sell on Facebook Marketplace. So while I don't sell them, I can try to use them. The problem with this one is that it's a bit too heavy for these kind of connections. It needed to have a proper arm, but still it was working. It was just holding there. It was robust, so I decided to test it anyways. Have the PoE working. It's fed by via Ethernet cable, special Ethernet that also sends electricity. Luckily, I had one of the tough switches that allow you to configure them to send PoE. I had already configured that before when I was first testing the cameras. And not all switches do that. It needs to be very special switches, and this Tough Switch Pro that I had, also from the auction actually, does have the full voltage required, which is, I think cameras actually need 51. This one gives 48, but 48 is good enough to make these cameras work. I think some of the access don't work with that. Anyways, I replaced the old switch that I had, which was only giving 24 volts, with this one that gives 48 volts. The AP cameras work. The lens was like curvy, because these cameras are made for like distance, not zooming. Maybe if I have a different lens, that could work, be more flat. As it is, it's not very good to use off the bat. There are some software that you can use to remove the deformation of the lens. I don't remember the exact word that you call it, but you can apply it to do those kind of things. We used to do that for computer vision things, but I don't want to be overloading OBS with some deforming software thing just to use this particular camera. So it maybe make more sense to try to get another lens for these, that it's just flat for close quarters things. Actually, I have a few other lenses of it here, but they are more expensive, so they're probably even better. Might be worth replacing, I don't know. Anyways, tried that, wasn't working. Picked up the old camera that I had lying around the TechNet, and I tried to figure out a way to have both cameras working at the same time. Because this computer supposedly has 3 USB 3 outputs, 2 in the back and 1 in the front. But if you check the USB device analyzer, whatever it's called, USB view, I think it's called. I found a different one called USB tree view. And the computer actually only has 1 USB 3 and it has 2 USB 2s, and none of the USB 2s are the ones available. They're actually in the back. There are 4 USBs. 2 of them are supposed to be USB 3s, 2 of them are supposed to be USB 2s, and actually when you connect stuff to all of them come out through the USB 3 host controller, which would be fine if you wanted USB 3 stuff. It's not fine when you are overloading the controller for the USB 3. So I tried flipping some stuff around, some USBs around, to make sure that I decrease the load on the USB 3s, particularly the actual 2 USB 3s on the back that actually use the same internal hub on the computer. I had a few other USB hubs around that are like self-powered, which is important. So you don't drain power from the computer, you drain power from the normal electricity outlet. I had some of those available from the auction, so I also plugged one of those in, had to switch things around. 2 cameras were still not working at the same time. Eventually, I managed to have both cameras working at the same time. So now we have these 2 cameras working at the same time. Amazing, the power of technology. So yeah. So after getting all of this figured out, I set the Logitech here, pointing down, to try to get the I'm gonna use this one. This one is too dark. I put the Logitech pointing down, trying to get what's in the table, and it wouldn't focus on the word genius on the keyboard properly. Focus wouldn't go more than that. I tried different settings, different lighting. I put more direct light into it. It would just be blurrier. Different resolutions. Another pro tip, if you're trying to get this working, make sure that both of the cameras are sending at MJPEG and not another format, because MJPEG is smaller, so it uses less overhead for USB. So make sure, plug one of them, change the settings to MJPEG, plug the other one, change the settings to MJPEG, and make sure that both of them are at MJPEG, and that increases the chances that both of them can operate at the same time. The cat is feeling lonely right now. So yeah, so the Logitech wasn't zooming in properly on this one, which was a bit annoying. I changed a few settings around, still couldn't get it working. I think the sharpness helps a little bit. I wasn't testing sharpness while I was having it there, but just not being able to focus more than, this is the maximum focus it has. It can't focus anything more behind me. It can't focus the books over there, because it's made for close proximity, 1 meter distance, not anything lower than that. So I would have to put the camera all the way over here so you can actually see it if I wanted to have 2 cameras at the same time, which is not very good. Feels like I'm is this really the best camera for live streaming that is out there? The best value for money? Maybe I should try to get a more professional camera. So I had the other one, the TechNet, and the TechNet actually has it has more finicky settings. As you can see right now, it's you have to juggle a lot the brightness and that kind of stuff, the exposure. But it does zoom a bit more. The problem with the TechNet is that it doesn't have the screw to attach the stuff. It does have this grip though, so maybe I can put one of the Elgato's sideways and this will grab on the sideways. Have to test that. For now I just gave up and just have both cameras here, and eventually I'll try again. Set up one of them as overhead. So yeah, that was my night, trying to figure out how to get two cameras working and failing at that. So lessons learned: one, next computer that I buy, make sure that I have extra USB 3 slots, like external, PCI, whatever it is, that just give you extra USB 3. That's important to have. I might actually have some cards around from the auction as well that have that. I don't think they are USB 3 though. I got a few cards, but I think all of them are like Ethernet, but I might be worth checking out. I don't think I have PCI slots available on this computer anyways. But anyways, pro tips that for the future. When buying a computer, make sure I have extra USB 3 ports. It will be needed, at least for live streaming. Maybe I should get a dedicated live streaming machine. That might also be might also be worth considering. So yeah, make sure the camera is configured to MJPEG to make sure that both of them fit, and check the USB tree view. Make sure you don't overload the same controller. Make sure you try to use different controllers. It's complicated, but it is possible. So try your best. IPTV cameras. I still haven't given up on the idea of maybe using an IPTV camera, but I need to search on the internet what could be the best camera to use without being USB, clearly. Because I do have the PoE ready to use, so maybe if I can find a good camera or a good lens for one of these cameras, it might be better worth using an IPTV camera, maybe even one of these axes to zoom in. Maybe I could even like put it in the ceiling and zoom all the way in. I don't think it will zoom that good, but without being, I mean, I'm sure it's possible to get there if I would pay like 1,000 euros for a lens, specific lens, but I don't have budget for that. And I should probably search some stuff and see what comes up. But it all feels like so. They say it's good, and then it arrives and you test, and it doesn't quite work. So similar to the Logitech, they say it's the best camera out there, but there's always a catch. There's always some catch. Meanwhile, we have a cat visiting. Here's the cat. So yeah, that was my night fighting USB web cameras. Have any experience with USB web cameras? Actually having multiple USB web cameras at the same time. Actually, I have to check some live streaming setup people to see what they do. See what other solutions are out there. So yeah, it's been my night so far, and gonna try to do a few more things regarding that. Hope you're having a better night than I have, not having to deal with non-working technology. So yeah, see you next video. Bye bye everyone, take care. Say goodbye, Xing Xing. Okay, that will do. Oh yeah, one thing that I forgot to mention. Why the hell don't webcams, USB webcams, have an easy thing to configure them? Like, I was searching for the Logitech, the best way to test things, and I want to show you here on OBS. If you want to test wrong camera, but I guess it kind of works. You can see me. Wrong screen though. Okay, that's better. Now I need to add the camera on this one. Hold on, this will be quick. I promise. I'm gonna add Logitech 1. Bam, in the corner. Here we go. Sure, that corner works. So if I want to configure stuff on for the camera, I have to right click it, go to properties, then configure video, and I have this little horrible thingy where I have two options. Most of the things are ticked off and I can't even use them. I can swingle things around and completely screw things up. And the most ridiculous thing is that if I reboot my computer, these settings are different, which is just retarded. Who the hell, how can someone do a driver for something that doesn't save settings? So I looked it up on the internet, trying to find some alternative for that, and the best thing that I could find was this Logitech hub thing, which supposedly solves your problems, but it doesn't have all the options that the other one does. And the way they solve this problem is that this program will always launch and tell the camera to change to these settings. So it's not the driver that's fixing it, it's an external program that tells the camera to always use the same settings, which is just, it's just ridiculous. It's just stupid. There should be some way to save the settings in the actual camera, so whenever you connect it again, it uses those settings by default. I don't know. I lose a little bit of faith in mankind whenever I have to deal with these sort of issues. So Logitech has this problem. The other one, the TechNet camera, also seems to have the same problem. So whenever I'm recording something, I'm supposed to have both of the menus for both cameras open in a separate monitor, just so I can control like the focus and stuff like that. This doesn't make any sense. There's got to be an application that notices whatever cam you're having and allows you to change those settings, like universal webcam controller thingy. It has to exist. How can I not find it searching on Google? I don't know, but I'm going to search some more, and hopefully I'll be able to do a follow-up video where I show that application and having it working and doing its magic, because it's just stupid that you have to have an application constantly launching on boot to make sure that you have this. I can understand having an application that you like open when you want to live stream and have all the settings there, and you can just click your presets and bam, it's working. This Logitech hub thing is not that. It's lacking in features. So there has to be something else that live streamers out there are using to have this better, because otherwise this is just stupid. Maybe they have better cameras that have like actual hardware things to change. Might be true. They just connect them to the computer somehow, or get a preview of what is somehow like a DLSR camera or something like that. I don't know. I have to investigate a little bit more. Anyways, that's my complaints on USB web cameras. Have a nice evening. Bye bye everyone. Take care.